So today I want to talk to you about a massive personal loan from Wells Fargo. $100,000 maximum limit. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about a humongous personal loan from Wells Fargo, $100,000. That's the maximum limit. Before I get into the actual loan details, please understand that this video is purely instructional and informational. We do not have any affiliation, any relationship, or any association with Wells Fargo. They're not paying us to do this video. We're just doing this video to inform you guys about the possibilities out there. So when we speak about Wells Fargo personal loans, you have a series of personal loans. So you have unsecured loans, you have secure loans, co-signed loans, and debt consolidation loans. The amount that you can get qualified for, that amount fluctuates between $3,000 and $100,000. The APR 5.74% to 24.24%. And in terms of fees, they do actually charge a late fee if you are late, of course, on payments. The term 2 to 7 years. The time to funding 1 to 3 days, and there are no extra conditions. And the cool thing here is that Wells Fargo is open to all kinds of credit, whether you have a low credit, fair credit, average credit, good credit, poor credit. They will accept you. The thing is, a lot of people think those big banks, they only take applications from good credit borrowers, but that's not true. In our research and based on conversations we have had with Wells Fargo employees, they basically will accept any kinds of credit profile. One thing that is very important to understand is that you got to have a relationship with Wells Fargo. If you really want to get this loan, you want to have a relationship with them. In other words, you need to be an existing Wells Fargo customer, and that's kind of cool because it's a big bank. They have branches all over the country, and it's a bank that is well run. So this is pretty cool. One thing we love with this loan is that we have dubbed it loan flexibility. In other words, Wells Fargo offers multiple loan types. They allow you to change the payment date. They offer direct payment to creditors for debt consolidation loans. That's pretty cool. And in terms of funding, they can fund you even within a business day, one business day, if you have all the qualifications. So that's wonderful. Let me quickly talk to you about the lender. Folks, in this show, I'm talking to you about an enormous personal loan from Wells Fargo. Maximum limit, $100,000. And this loan is open to all kinds of credit profiles from low credit to excellent credit. No problem. Let's have a quick conversation about the lender. Of course, everybody knows Wells Fargo. So I'm not going to tell you what Wells Fargo is, but what I want to tell you is that in the last 5 years, Wells Fargo has changed the way they actually lend money, and they've come with a very aggressive strategy that's paying off. In other words, they're offering right now very competitive rates, because when you really analyze their APRs, they are on average lower than many of their competitors, including Chase and Citi. So this is kind of cool, and you can actually take advantage of Wells Fargo's low rates if you have, again, as I said, you have a relationship with them, but you also need to accept automatic payments. So if you sign up for auto pay, once you qualify for the loan, they will give you a discount, okay? And they can give you a discount that ranges from 0.25% to 0.50% off, and that's a lot of cash. Think about it. If you are lucky enough to qualify for the $100,000 loan, 0.25 to 0.50% off your APR. That's huge. They also offer joint loans. We love that. So this is a bank that has been accommodating to a lot of borrowers. So you can add a co-borrower to your application, and this could lead to a lower rate or a higher loan amount. That's if you don't qualify for the higher amount. Of course, the maximum loan amount here is $100,000, and you may not qualify for that amount, right? And that makes sense because the amount is based on your creditworthiness, on your financial situation and all the strength of your application process. So if you don't qualify for the full amount, but you qualify for, let's say, you qualify for 50 grand or 75 grand, that's still cool, right? And we love the fact that Wells Fargo actually has done they're constantly trying to educate their customers. So the dashboard, the user friendliness of their app, fantastic. So after evaluating Wells Fargo on tens of criteria, including loan variety, loan amount generosity, the cost, the reputation, the customer service, we have assigned a score of 8 over 10 to Wells Fargo. And you can see that they also got a 3.6 over 5 on WellHub. And this came out of 11,116 reviews. Let me quickly talk to you about eligibility criteria for this loan. Of course, folks, I'm speaking to you about a loan, a gigantic personal loan from Wells Fargo. Maximum loan amount, $100,000, minimum $3,000. All kinds of credit profiles are welcome. If you want to qualify for a Wells Fargo personal loan, this personal loan, you have to, of course, you got to have you want to have your social. That makes sense. You got to provide your contact details, including permanent address, email, and phone number. Okay, and of course, one thing they really pay attention to is employment and income. So those are two things. So they require documentation to verify the kind of information you provide. So how can you verify employment? You can show pay stubs. You can show an offer letter. You can also show an income tax return, your W-2s also. That's pretty cool. And to verify income, you can do the same thing. Now, you can also, in addition to the documents I just listed, you can also show the last three statements. The last three bank statements. All right. And it's even better if you have a relationship with Wells Fargo. In other words, then you don't have to provide any kind of bank statement. They already have the data because you are a customer of theirs. Okay. And you also, in some cases, they might also want to see from you your personal financial statements. In other words, they want to have an idea of your balance sheet, your net worth, your assets, your liabilities, what kind of loans you currently have, whether you have a monthly mortgage or rent payment. They want to have the amount. So basically, what they're trying to do here is they want to have an idea of your DTI, your debt to income ratio. And debt to income ratio means that they want to see the percentage of your debt that you allocate to debt payment, the percentage of your income rather that you allocate to debt payments. And in some cases, we've seen that Wells Fargo has also asked prospective applicants to show proof of residence, proof of education, rather. So what we love is that Wells Fargo has, in the last few years, they've been looking at a whole constellation of criteria to make a lending decision. So they might look at your resume, for example, and see, okay, you probably have a master's degree. You're not working right now, but you do have a degree, a graduate degree, so that's pretty good. So they could base their decision on that as well. Let's talk about use of loan proceeds. In other words, if you do qualify for this massive personal loan from Wells Fargo, maximum loan limit $100,000, minimum $3,000. If you do qualify for that loan, what can you use the money for? Now, we reached out to Wells Fargo and we actually did some research on their website. They have listed four main purposes that their loan they're willing to finance for you. First, they can help you consolidate debt, finance purchases, fund renovations in your house, or cover other expenses. So in terms of debt consolidation, Wells Fargo offers a personal loan with a competitive fixed interest rate. So what you want to do here is that, again, if you saw the rates, they start at 5.74. That's wonderful, especially from a large bank such as Wells Fargo. So you can consolidate higher interest rate debts into one predictable payment monthly that won't change. And that's pretty cool, right? If you're lucky enough to get that, then you have peace of mind. You don't have to worry about rates changing all the time. So you can actually consolidate your debt and you can clarify your budgeting. And one thing we also love is that you can finance purchases with Wells Fargo this loan. So you can they make it easier to fit major purchases into your budget, such as new appliances or furniture, right? And this is kind of cool, especially if you have to move. Let's say you just got a new job and you have to move in, and you've done all the work and you've done all the shopping just to furnish the new apartment. Getting a loan from Wells Fargo, for that matter, is pretty cool. You can use the loan also to fund renovations. So you can replace, let's say, a broken water heater. You can remodel your bathroom. And we've seen also, and the team at Wells Fargo is very accommodating. In other words, they understand exactly what you need, and they will help you along the way. You can also use the money to make energy efficient upgrades to your home. And even better, you can get some tax incentives for that, for being eco-friendly. You can also use the cash to fund your projects. So projects can range from a home repair to extensive renovations, or you can cover expenses for special events, medical bills, auto repairs, or other major expenses. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Study Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about a humongous personal loan from Wells Fargo. Maximum loan amount, $100,000, minimum $3,000. And what I want to say here is that let's talk about the evidence that Wells Fargo needs. Obviously, a prerequisite, even though they don't say it, it would be nice for you to have an account with them. At least one account. If you have a checking account or savings account, the more account you have with them, the better. They haven't said it, they don't say it on their website, but that's what we've seen in our research. So the kind of evidence they need, specifically, they want you to have your last three or four pay stubs. You want to complete the loan application form, so you want to indicate why you are applying for the loan, how you use the money, what kind of assets you would purchase with the loan, whether it is a car, a home, a boat, what other personal debt you have, and who are your current creditors. For them, it's very important to understand your debt situation and analyze your DTI before granting you the loan. They want to know if this is a joint loan application, whether you are co-borrowing or co-signing, so they can see if you can get a higher loan amount and a lower rate. And they want to have an idea of your personal background in terms of your education and your current employment. And as I said earlier, in some cases, they might want to ask for your resume. And so also income tax returns are required. And for the last 3 years, so your 1040 or your 1065 and 1120S or 1120C, that is if you have a business on the side. They might want to also have a complete set of financial statements for the last 3 months or for the last year from you. So you would need to attach to the application form your balance sheet, your income statement, and your cash flow. Okay. Again, as I said, they will ask for a bank statement. They will ask for the last 3 bank statements, but generally, if you have an account with them, they don't need that anymore, because unless the account that you have with them is not well funded, and you have another account at another bank, and you want to show that to Wells Fargo to say, hey, listen, I do have some cash sitting on the side, so I do have liquidity. Now let's talk about how to apply. Again, folks, we are speaking to you today about a gigantic personal loan from Wells Fargo. Maximum loan limit $100,000, minimum $3,000. All kinds of credits are welcome, whether you have low credit, no credit, poor credit, or good credit or fair credit, doesn't matter. And with Wells Fargo, you have several ways of applying. You can apply via email. You can actually fax over the application form to them. You can do it on the website, their web form. You can call them up. You can have a conversation with a credit card department rep. You can visit a Wells Fargo branch if you are in the vicinity, or you can mail in the application package depending on what works for you. Okay, now you can see on the screen here that I'm just going to show you a very short step, because a lot of the conversation happens if you have an account. because what they want is they want to, of course, and that makes sense. They want to have the business, they want to consolidate the business they have with you. So you're going to have to apply by logging in into your Wells Fargo account. Okay. So as you can see on the screen here, they are asking you whether or not you are a Wells Fargo customer. And the second screenshot here is that they are asking you for your agreement so that they can contact you. In other words, they can call you, text you, email you, or snail mail you. It really depends. And the third screenshot here, you can see that the prerequisite that I was talking to you about is that you have to open an account, because they only accept phone or online applications for a personal loan from customers who have an existing account with them. So you can either call them, you can either visit a Wells Fargo branch to speak with a banker about your credit options. And we've seen in our research that the more you speak to them and you explain your situation, you're able to make a strong case about why you need the loan, you will get it. Of course, you got to show the evidence, things like employment, pay stubs, your bank statements, and all that kind of stuff. But they're pretty accommodative. Okay, so this is what you have to do. So we don't have none of our team members, nobody in our team has an account with Wells Fargo, which is why we couldn't show you the actual process, but it's pretty straightforward. But you got to have an account. Once you have an account, you log in and you just apply from that account. All right, now let me give you a few pro tips, folks. And again, I'm speaking to you about the giant personal loan from Wells Fargo, $3,000 minimum limit, $100,000 maximum limit. A personal loan rather, that accepts all kinds of borrowers. If you want to increase your chances of getting the loan, there are a few things you need to do. First of all, you got to constantly work on your credit. Even though I said that Wells Fargo doesn't pay attention to, I shouldn't say that Wells Fargo does not disqualify bad credit borrowers. It makes sense that if you are a bad credit borrowers, if your credit score is low, your loan amount approved, the approved loan amount might be, limited. In other words, you might not qualify for the $100,000. So what you want to do here is you want to start working on your credit. You want to make sure that you are able to clean your credit report. If you have derogatory items on your report, such as repos, such as collections, charge-offs, all that kind of stuff, you want to dispute it if it's not true. So you want to have a strategy for that. You also want to keep your documents ready. So you want to gather your documents. The cool thing about Wells Fargo is that they will work with you, but when they ask you for additional documents, don't drag your feet. You want to get back to them ASAP. So you want to have your personal tax returns all sorted out. If you have a business on the side, you also want to have your business tax returns on the side. You want to have the same thing for your personal bank statements and business bank statements, if applicable. You want to have also your financial statements. Now, you don't need to hire an accountant to do your financial statements. There are a lot of free software on the internet that can help you do your financial statements very easily. You don't have to have a degree in accounting for that. And also, in some cases, they might want to ask, as I said earlier, they might want to ask you for your resume. So you want to update your resume as well. And if you want to, one thing that's very important is that Wells Fargo wants to see that you have enough cash flow, not only to live, to take care of your existing loans, but also repay them. So those are three things that they want to pay attention to. So make sure that whatever amount you're asking, whatever loan amount you're applying for, that you can actually afford the payments without actually encroaching on your current budget. In other words, you should be able to have a normal life, take care of your family and yourself, pay the other creditors, and still pay Wells Fargo. So that's the kind of stuff they look at before actually approving you. So keep that in mind. All right. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. Today I was talking to you about a huge personal loan from Wells Fargo. We're talking about $100,000 maximum limit, and this is a loan that is open to all kinds of credit, from poor credit all the way to excellent credit. I appreciate you listening in today. God bless you. I will see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.